There are huge spoilers ahead, so please make sure you've watched episode 6 before watching this video. The latest episode of Helluva Boss showed us that there's a lot more under Blitz's surface than we may have realised. While there were plenty of interesting things to analyse in his truth gas-induced hallucinations, today we're focusing on his vision of Verosika, more specifically, why I think they're going to make up, and even why I believe it's quite likely that Verosika will join IMP. Trust me, it'll all make sense. Before I begin, please consider subscribing. Many watch my Helluva Boss content, yet don't. It lets you know when I release new content, and it supports the channel big time. I greatly appreciate those of you kind enough to do so, and of course, those of you who've done so already. My Discord server, Twitter, and Patreon are all in the description. Now back to the theory.
This is your final boarding call. All aboard.
When Verosika is introduced in Spring Broken, we find out that she used to date Blitz, and for some reason they're on exceedingly bad terms. In Truth Seekers, we find out why their relationship deteriorated. The Verosika in Blitz's hallucination says to him,
"Yet you still shove away anyone who gets too close until they resent you for being a selfish, shitty shit."
Clearly this is spoken through Verosika, as is exactly what happened to her. Honestly, it's pretty messed up for Blitz to even do this to someone he's in a relationship with. And it's easy to see why Verosika feels the way she does about him now. If he started treating her anything like the way he treats Moxxie while they were dating, then he was probably pretty abusive. Verbally at least. I mean, the relationship did end with him ditching her in a hotel room, stealing her car, and maxing her credit cards on quote, shitty horse riding lessons. Not to mention, the way he spoke to her in Spring Broken didn't exactly seem unfamiliar. Their relationship definitely wasn't just a fling either. Verosika at least clearly really did love Blitz, even getting a heart tattoo with Blitz's name inscribed on it. Not only that, but she clearly respected him. Blitz recently dropped the O from his name for whatever reason, and on Verosika's arm, Blitz is spelt without an O. It's likely she knows why he dropped the O, and that since the fallout, she now calls him Blitz O to piss him off.
Aw, you mad, Blitzo?
So with all that being said, if her love really was that strong, then perhaps she still harbours some feelings towards Blitz. What's important to keep in mind is that the Verosika in Blitz's hallucinations words don't necessarily reflect the opinions of the real Verosika. In fact, Blitz's voice is heard through all the figures that appear in his hallucination besides Moxxie, not their own voice. He may believe that she started to resent him before their breakup, but that isn't necessarily the case. If she really does still have any affection towards Blitz, she might actually reciprocate his feelings of wanting to make up. I mean, Verosika is kind of a dick herself, and even if she wasn't always like that, maybe she has regrets of her own as well. Blitz's hallucination never said there weren't faults on both sides.
And rehab is for sad loser wash-ups. So your sister says hi.
What we do know for sure though is that Blitz was shitty to her. She's a victim, and it's clear from the developments he makes in his relationship with Moxxie that the show wants him to improve himself and even make amends. And he has a good reason to. Besides Blitz, everybody in IMP seemingly admires Verosika. Loona, however, has an even closer connection to her. She's in love with her hellhound, Tex. It's no secret that Loona has a huge thing for Tex. I mean, same. Even though he has a partner, I can definitely see Loona and Tex being an endgame ship for the show. It would be very hard for it to work out if their bosses were at loggerheads with one another. Blitz loves Loona more than anything in the world, and although he currently disapproves of Tex due to his connection to his ex, I think he'd actually want to push his own feelings aside eventually in order to make his daughter happy. This would be a great opportunity for Blitz to try and start resolving things with Verosika. From his hallucination, it's clear that he knows, or at least believes, that he was the one truly at fault. To put a rest to his anxieties, making up with his ex would be a great start.
I've been a jackass, it's true.
You've been a jackass.
Okay, sure, they may make up, but what incentive does Verosika have for actually joining IMP? Letting go of the past is one thing, but joining IMP is another. The answer is simple: dorks. So we know that dorks now has footage of the imps, and that's going to be pretty bad news. Not only for IMP, but any demon who works in the human world. It's not as if these dudes are just going to specifically target IMP. Why would they? They're going to want to go after any demons, including succubi. And think about it, if word gets out, that's not just dorks we're talking about. If they manage to convince people the footage is real, we're talking about perhaps even the world governments and their militaries as well. This is a serious hell-wide threat, not merely an isolated incident. Verosika, I'm sure, is smart enough to let bygones be bygones and do what's best for the sake of her job. She clearly loves what she does and won't give it up without a fight. I mean, it's pretty much what she was born for.
Take it straight to
Not to mention, imp can't stop dorks from spreading the word alone. They seem to be a huge organisation with a lot of funding. 3 meddling imps and their talking hellhound most likely aren't enough to stop them all. Not even with horny Dial's help, they can get so far as we saw. But they'll need backup. Now dorks know what demons are capable of, they'll be way more prepared next time. Perhaps the cherubs will even provide them with angelic weaponry. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it so that YouTube doesn't send it to hell, subscribe for more Helluva Boss content, and be sure to let me know whether or not you think these two will make up in the comment section down below. Be sure to join my Discord, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my Patreon. Links are in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.